Hi guys, Alvaro here. So, have you seen that Squid Game reality show that they just released? So, funny story, I actually applied for that show, and guess what? They didn't choose me. But yeah, instead of feeling sad about that, I decided to actually bring Squid Games the challenge to home, you know? And yeah, that's kind of the backstory of why I suddenly just made a Squid Games video game during the last weekend. But I knew making these games playable as video games would be kind of challenging. I didn't have any first-hand experience, so I had to reach out to some of the contestants of the show so they could give me some tips. I just wanted to ask, how would you describe the experience of being in Squid Games?
Discombobulating.
Wow.
Humbling. When you realize you're only a speck in a world that's so big, it's truly humbling. It's truly humbling. It'll humble the hell out of you.
I'd say it's like adult summer camp.
Adult summer camp.
You know, the accommodations, they're not 5-star, but the people there, well, I love them a lot. And I feel like some people are there because they want to be on the show, but also a lot of people are there because they want the money. And so, not having to worry about the stress of the show and just being able to think about the idea of the money and that you can slip through right now. I feel like that is a lot.
When we were in the games and in the dorms, you didn't know what time it was. We didn't know what day it was. And time just kept going.
There was no clock, there's no light, no
no clock, no nothing. Now I will say that sometimes they let us go outside. Sometimes they would take us to go outside because apparently humans can't be indoors for too long without sunlight. But still, you go outside, you don't know if it's afternoon or you don't know if it's morning time.
I actually applied for the show, but I didn't make it. I don't know, since I couldn't be in the show, I'll just bring it home and I'll just make it.
It's a good idea.
I don't know how you could make them into a video game, if that's what you're asking.
For me, the biggest challenge is not even programming. It's what is the challenge of each game? Because when I was thinking about green light, red light, I was thinking, okay, so you could just push a joystick and move the character and then release it and stop. But I don't think it doesn't seem to me that that's the challenge of that game.
I would say the challenge was staying forward, focused.
Yeah.
Because, I don't think you understand how many times I wanted to give up. I wanted to give up so many times. I had to actually calculate the time of the doll. It worked for a little while, but the doll kept getting faster and faster. And I'm like,
Well, actually, right before the game began and we found out it was red light, green light, there was one player who spoke Korean fluently.
And when they told us that the song was in Korean, we were like, okay, great. That means it's kind of a rhythm game then.
He was sharing the song with us so that we knew the 3 words before the final one.
And I don't remember the whole lyrics. I just remember the ending is Piet Sumida.
So that when we heard that word, we could start to stop.
That's how I found the angle for the game. The words start to stop. The game was not only about reflexes, but anticipation. Because the faster we move, the harder it is to come to a full stop. And I had to turn that into gameplay. So in my version of the game, you have to mash a button that will fill this bar. But if the bar is red and the light turns red, then you're finished. However, the light has a cooldown time, so you not only have to stop when they change the light, but before it changes. Yeah, it's quite challenging, even for me. That's kind of your episode, dude. I guess I'll say what was the challenge, but I guess the challenge was the pressure of the choice plus cutting the cookie. How was that man?
I mean, I'm very grateful and happy about the opportunity in retrospect. I'd say that in the moment I was thinking very negatively and I was making it worse for myself. I like to think that if I went through that experience again or that situation that I would handle myself better.
People was trying to stay away from the star, and I just told our lead, I was like, hey, just go for the star because everybody's gonna be fighting for them 2 shapes. Nobody wants that shape. Make that decision.
I remember everyone in the dorm wanted circle, and I remember I told my friend Kiata 362. I was like, we're not gonna get circle. We're gonna get triangle. We either get triangle or star. I'll take umbrella before I take circle.
Seriously?
Yeah, I would mess up circle. I would, because it's just a round shape, and I would somehow mess it up and crack it. But with umbrella, it's hard, so you have to focus. But circle, it just looks easy, so you might not focus as hard. You might think, oh, this is easy. Crack. Oh no.
So all of this gave me the idea that the game should have 2 phases: choosing the shape and cutting the cookie. To choose the shape, several NPCs will get in line behind one of 4 doors, and you have to choose one of them. The cookie shape is chosen at random at the beginning of the game, but you don't know which one has it. Once the shape is revealed, the game begins. You have to move the joystick to cut the shape with a needle, but if you touch the edges, it will eventually break. And funny enough, I think 357 was right. Triangle is the easiest shape to carve through, and circle isn't as easy as I thought. However, yeah, umbrella is the worst, it actually sucks. Yeah, they changed Tug of War, which was played in the Korean Squid Games, for warships in the reality show. And yeah, while I like this twist, it also means I can't ask the contestants about their experience, you know. However, I have played Tug of War, and while I can't recreate the strength needed to beat the game because you're playing with a controller, I can recreate the consistent struggle you feel. So to win, you have to mash the X button constantly for what feels like forever, and everything comes into play, like how many players there are, if a player has fallen from your team or the enemy team, if you stop pulling, the enemies get like a boost and can like make you lose really fast. And yeah, like altogether this one wasn't as hard to make, although there's a lot of math and numbers going in the background, you know. Sadly, both Steven and Nayo didn't make it this far into the game, but thankfully TJ had played almost every game, including marbles. And the game itself, like, which one did you go for? Did you go for like throwing? I don't quite remember, sorry.
Yeah, throwing. They didn't really highlight ours because you know, we didn't have no drama or anything, right? So I sat in a lower box. He sat in a higher box so we could share the same eye level. So it was nothing like, it was a 100% fair. And he threw the first one, he made it. I threw the first one, I made it. He threw the second one, he missed it. I threw the second one, I made it. And then, you know, we missed the rest of them. It ended up being 2-1. Wow. Yeah, it was tough. That was rough.
I took TJ's note on fairness and tried to come up with a game that gives players equal possibilities. So for marbles, you control one marble, which you can launch towards the enemy marbles once per turn. The player who removes all the enemy marbles from the circle wins. Coming up with the game was pretty easy actually, but the hard part was programming the enemy player's AI. But you know what? It actually works, and it's pretty hard, so I'm really happy, you know?
Like I said, first, the glass bridge, the set was phenomenal. It was something that I couldn't even imagine, you know, in my wildest dreams. When we picked the bears for the numbers, so when I got number one, you know, I was obviously upset, but I had my moment and I told her, hey, it's okay, we'll get through it.
When do you realize that you failed then?
Like when I jumped, the time when I was like thinking, and then the time when I jumped, and the time that I landed, it was like maybe 3 seconds they told me. 182, eliminate.
They tell you, like, is it like a voice, like you fell, something like that?
Yeah, and so their reactions was very real because it was so sudden.
So the main thing I got from the bridge is that it has to be really impressive, but it also has to be like nerve-wracking, you know. But you know, like the odds are against the players, you know, so I don't want people to play this game and just reach this point and die in a silly way. So what I've done instead is I've made a bridge with 8 steps, and there are going to be 5 player AIs that will jump each step of the bridge at their own pace. Maybe one of them will rush it, or maybe they will wait for the players to move forward, you don't know. So it's kind of like a game of chance, but also you can just be patient, wait to see what other players do. However, you have like 1 minute to cross, so if you just sit down and wait for others to do something, like maybe you will lose, you know. And yeah, I'm actually really happy with the end result. I think it feels like the closest to the real thing in my opinion. Squid Game. I don't think anybody really understands what the game's about. I could have taken the easy route here and just made rock, paper, scissors like in a reality show, but no. My goal is to make the games of the original show, so I have to find a way to make a video game version of Squid Game. But after watching 4 million tutorial videos, I kind of understood what the game's really about. I'm not gonna waste your time explaining all the rules, but just know that you have a button dedicated to explaining all the rules in the game, so yeah. And I'll just say that the AI in this game is really clever and will try to ruin your day, so yeah, be careful there. And that's how I made a Squid Games video game in a weekend. First of all, thank you so much to all my guests, to TJ, to Spencer, to Nayo, like you guys, like thank you so much for sharing your experience with me. It helped so much. I'm gonna share their social media on the comment and on the description so you can follow them. Just a small note, I made this in Little Big Planet, which I use to prototype game ideas that I have. Doing something like this in a real engine would take forever, but if this video gets like 1 million views, like I'll consider it, you know? Let's see what happens. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching, and before you go,
You can check out what other content Alvaro has on his channel.
Everybody subscribe, like to Alvaro's channel.
Leave a like and a comment. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you again. Bye-bye.